If you can't talk to each other, then you shouldn't be together. I firmly believe that, because the reality is that communication is key in any relationship. And if you're going to have happiness and success, you two have to be on the same page. You have to be able to talk to each other, express yourselves to each other, because if not, it causes all kinds of problems. And the reality is, the unfortunate reality is that many relationships are going through this. Whether you're in one right now or you are hoping to get into one, you have to be mindful and aware of the fact that a lot of men struggle with opening up. That's just an unfortunate truth. Now, one of the reasons, of course, I think most of us will agree, if not all, men are not raised to be very expressive emotionally, all right? Men are told to suck it up, to deal with it, and they bottle up their emotions and they don't know how to process and handle them properly. Now, there are some people out there who believe, okay, so we need to encourage our young men to open up and express themselves. Yes, yes, but to a certain extent. And what I mean to a certain extent is, it is one thing to express how you feel and remain calm and gain control of your emotions, rather than to allow yourself to be an emotional wreck while you're expressing yourself, all right? Just throwing that out there, whole nother discussion. Let's get back to the grown men though. He's already grown, he's struggling, and again, you as a woman have to be mindful of, what role do you play in his ability to, or his willingness to open up to you? Now, of course, there's a big point I have to make at the very end. Just listen to the whole thing, because I have to explain this one big point. But let's start with some of the other things. So when you show him that you will not throw things back in his face, he can start to open up to you. If you scour the internet and you see any videos or discussions about men communicating and opening up, you will constantly see men complain about or point out the fact that they cannot trust women to not use those moments against them. That they will now, again, throw it back in their face. They will judge them, look down on them, all kinds of issues. And because of this, men are shutting down. Now, I am not a believer that this is a healthy way to handle this on the men's side. I still encourage a man to open up. And if she shows you she will throw it back in your face, that just shows you can't be with this woman. All right. So the man can't expose what he's dealing with unless he's willing to open up. But also because it's unfair to the woman who is willing to listen and not throw it back in his face for him to just shut down. Regardless of that, the fact remains that many men hold back for this reason. So as a woman, let me say this. Everything I'm about to mention on this list is things you can apply with anyone, friends, family, your children. This is going to help anyone in your life be more willing to talk to you and open up more, okay? So understand that you can't just make this about, well, he's a grown man, he should be able to do this on his own. Why do I need to do anything? No, because flip it for a second. If you felt like every time you opened up, your man threw it back in your face, well, you're going to think twice too. You might talk to your friends, you might talk to other individuals, but confiding in him will get less and less because of the way that he handles it. So again, there is still a role that you play in this dynamic. And this throwing things back in the face is just, it's a huge, again, if you were to poll men, I guarantee this would be one of the number one reasons why a man will tell you why they don't open up to a woman. All right. So be mindful of that. And what I want to elaborate on more is this. You really got to practice this always in your life. You have to be aware and be willing to hold yourself accountable when you do this to anyone. Because the reality is that if you have a habit of throwing things back in people's faces, again, friends, family, kids, whoever, it will be very difficult for you to not do it to the man that you're with. Plain and simple. Not to mention, if you say, well, I've been dating this man And he hasn't even given me the opportunity to show him I won't throw it back in his face. Well, guess what? He is paying attention to what you do with other people too. So if he has witnessed or heard of, whether it be on the phone, whether it be in person, that you took information and threw it back, now he's like, oh, I'm not going to put myself in that position. Hell no. Like, I'm not even going to go there. He now sees he cannot trust you in that way. So please be aware you're being watched. Like the eyes are on you. And if you don't learn how to manage this in general, you're going to have a problem. So a great thing for you to do to start practicing this is letting the people you love, letting the people you're cool with, be aware that you're trying to work on this. And that if you ever do it, they are allowed to call you out and check you on it. All right. You've got to give them permission to put you in your place, so to speak. All right. In that moment, in a loving way, of course, not attacking you with it, but letting you know, hey, you told me to let you know about this. You're doing it right now. So that you can start to become more aware. And when they check you, don't fight it. Don't resist it. Accept it for what it is and say, you know what? I'm sorry. My apologies. And now, get back to a more healthier discussion or healthier expression with them. The other thing you can do to get a man to open up emotionally to you is to show him that you can be open and transparent with him as well. So I always say, listen, you can't complain about people lying if you're going to lie yourself. You can't get people to be open if you're not going to be open yourself. You can't get people to be, you can't get people to go get therapy and heal if you won't go get therapy and heal yourself. All right? You have to set the example of what, this is one of those things where you got to give what you want in return. Because in you letting your walls down, it helps him feel safer in letting his walls down. Now, again, if I was speaking to men, I would tell them the same thing in reverse. That his willingness to be vulnerable will help the woman in her willingness to be vulnerable and less scared, because women have their own fears as well. But this is about you today. and the fact remains that, yes, you've got to make sure that you're not just opening up to the level that you feel comfortable with, but you're opening up at the level that he needs from you. Because there's a lot of relationships that I've seen where the woman feels like I'm doing my part. But when you speak to the man, he's still complaining about how closed off she is, how he doesn't feel like she shares things with him, how he feels like he has to pull teeth to get things out of the woman, right? So what's really being said is that she feels like she's operating at the level that she feels comfortable at, but not at the level that is necessary to gain positive results in this relationship and pour into each other. So vulnerability is not simply about how far do I want to take it, it's how far do you need for me to take it? How much do we need to be pouring into each other in all these different ways so that we can feel like we're a team? We're a team that can share all these moments together. We're a team that can, if it means crying together, rejoicing together, celebrating, whatever the case may be, we can do that together because we know we have each other's back. It's safe here. We love and respect each other. And it's those types of things that will allow us to have an amazing, successful relationship. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. Is that he cares about what you think and your opinion of things, all right? So of course, that doesn't sound bad at all. There's nothing wrong with that. Who doesn't want a man as a woman that